Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and chunga plants, presented by Bolin Media. This individual is Ross Bolin, and I am here with another individual who went by Barrett Dudley to discuss and review episode 7 of Pluribus on Apple TV. Barrett, I was thinking we could go for a little hike out at the Darien Gap after we record today. Sound good?
It doesn't sound good because already this morning I was on a hike in my neighborhood, walking the dogs, and I nearly fell into a giant agave.
Oh God,
cactus.
Oh,
and
they're out
and it
there.
it was not one of the ones with the rounded soft edges. It was one with the spiky edges. And I was this close to having to pull out my machete that I carry on my side hip.
Machete.
And cauterize a bunch of puncture wounds from falling into this agave. Fortunately, that did not happen. I managed to steady myself, reflexes of a cat on this individual.
Oh yeah,
and I avoided said cauterization. But that means that I'm just not in a hiking mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. If we wanted to, we could probably make this our shortest podcast episode ever. Like, I could summarize this episode in less than 5 minutes, and then we could discuss, but that wouldn't be as much fun, Barrett. It just wouldn't be as much fun, so we won't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh. I mean, very little dialogue in this one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw people comparing it to Breaking Bad's infamous The Fly episode.
Okay.
Where there's a fly trapped in the lab, and there's like 2 lines of dialogue in the entire episode. Just for the record, that's one of my favorite episodes of Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. So clearly I like the weird shit.
Oh, wow. How about that picture up on the Aura frame? Man, the YouTubers are really getting something special here.
Yeah. So
sorry for the
we've got Aura as a sponsor today. You'll hear the read a little bit later. They make beautiful frames, as you can see over my back left shoulder if you're watching on YouTube. And I dug through my iPhone, and I found the oldest photo of you and I that I could find in my iPhone. There are surely older photos on Facebook.
That's got to be about 15 years old now.
Yeah. It's us in the middle of the night after a party in college in your apartment.
That's post-college, I think. No,
No, it was in college.
Oh, okay, so this is more than 15 years ago. You're right.
And you had like some wigs and some helmets laying around, and we were all, happy on the adult beverages. And we dug some of those out. So I threw that in there as a little treat for the YouTube viewers, a little treat for the fans,
Of course.
A young Barrett and Ross partying.
Well, sorry. Okay, so back to, reminiscent of The Fly from Breaking Bad. Here, allow me to be hyperbolic for a moment. Episodes that came to mind for me during this one, Pine Barrens, The Sopranos.
Really?
Yeah. Not for any one-to-one comp, but just like as a moment in the series where the show did something different, and it did have people it did have at least one person out in the wilderness, which was saying a lot about both this individual and the circumstances that they found themselves therein. But just like this episode took a moment to slow it down even more.
Somehow.
In the most perfect way possible. Like, I thought this episode was awesome. It's one of my favorite episodes of television of the entire year.
Let's go.
Favorite episode of of Pluribus since the first one. And it, like, the fact that it did it by essentially stomping on the brakes even harder, I think was pretty ingenious in a way, given the conversation that's out there.
Yeah, I'm with you. And honestly, just to be completely frank up top, the more people complain about the pace of the show, the more I'm enjoying the pace of the show.
Yeah.
And it's, first of all, I feel like a lot of those complaints are very contrarian. It's one part TikTok brain, instant gratification. We are the most spoiled content generation of all time. And then one part contrarian. I feel like a lot of people are just like complaining to complain.
Yeah.
But the more high pitched that vocal minority complaining about the speed of this show and how nothing ever happens gets, the happier I have become with the snail's pace. So him slamming on the brakes for this one, I was like, yes, fucking kick them while they're down, Vince.
Yeah. It did come at quite a moment, But I thought it was great.
I'm with you, man. I loved it. I really loved it. And different strokes for different folks. People like different things, and that's okay. I'm glad we're on the same page today, though. Yeah. All right, let's dive into episode 7 of Pluribus, titled "The Gap," written by. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing that I was looking down on my phone to try to pull up here, but I have it now. It's just a quick. This was published just yesterday from Forbes. Pluribus just set an all-time record for Apple TV. And I'm trying to see what the record is.
The record is that it's the most watched
show in Apple TV history, as in ever.
Now, what you will not find in that Forbes article, because I also read it just before we started recording, is that no one knows, or that how they're measuring that. What the metric is, they do not reveal. So no one knows how they're actually measuring this. Is it that these first 7 episodes have been watched more than any one season on Apple TV ever? Is it this first 7 episodes have been watched more than anything on Apple TV, period? Like, have more people watched Pluribus than the first 2 seasons of Severance? Or all of Ted Lasso? You know what I mean? So nobody really knows, but they're really leaning into this as a marketing tactic. So they fired off a bunch of social media that was like Carol lighting fireworks. With a caption along the lines of like, what does the caption say? It's like, congratulations,
it's official,
Carol. There you Carol.
It's official, Carol. Pluribus, now streaming.
Yeah. So they're using it to market the show, one way or the other, regardless of what the metrics are that led to that label of most watched Apple TV show of all time.
I love how Apple can just do this and like nobody can call their bluff.
Nobody can argue.
Nobody can argue. They could literally just be making this up.
Yeah, but don't you feel like it's a risk if you're just making it up? Because wouldn't like Ben Stiller and the Severance crew be like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
It feels like a knock on us now.
Pluribus is the most watched show in Apple TV history. That's what the little congratulations, Carol.
Impossible to derive any further information from that statement. So,
okay, all right.
Maybe in time we'll find out what the hell that means. But for now, seems like a good thing for us.
Yeah.
And for Vince and the squad. All right, The Gap, written by co-executive producer Jen Carroll and directed by Adam Bernstein. We start out with Carol cruising around in her cop car humming "It's the End of the World as We Know It." She pulls into a gas station, picks up the phone, dials 0, and tells the others that she needs pump number 1 turned on. After she hangs up, shortly thereafter, power at the gas station comes on. Carol immediately calls back, knocks out a scratch-off while we listen to the voicemail yet again, and then requests a Gatorade, the red one. Fruit Punch, I think it's called. Real sugar, not fake, and she wants it ice cold. Then Carol notices a fireworks stand just right there inside the gas station?
Yeah.
Like, even in Texas, I've never seen that.
Well, maybe this is she's somewhere in like, rural Nevada or California. No, I'm sorry. Rural Nevada or New Mexico.
Yeah, she's on the way back from Vegas.
She's on the way back from Vegas.
Yeah,
so,
out in the country.
Maybe there's,
outside the county lines.
We're outside of the county lines.
That's where they've got all the fireworks shops set up here in
Now, it does
Tejas.
seem like a bit of a conflict of interest in potentially, a explosive situation to have the fireworks in and next to the gas.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
So, but
They sell petroleum and fireworks. No big deal. So she loads up her trunk with all the fireworks she can fit, and up flies a drone to deliver her red Gatorade. However, it is not ice cold, and thus Carol is not satisfied with the service, so she picks up the phone again, and we hear the voicemail for the 3rd time already this episode.
Yeah.
She does another scratch off, and then she says, I didn't say tepid. I didn't say lukewarm. I didn't even just say cold. I said ice cold. Do better next time.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah.
Hangs up.
But so you can already see on this drive home and at the stop of the gas station that Carol is kind of like leaning into the situation now.
Yeah.
She knows what to do when the voicemail comes on. She'll occupy herself by grabbing the scratch-offs or looking at this. She clicks onto the speaker, sets the phone down. She's busying herself. Very confident. Got a little bit of a toot here talking to these folks now.
Mm-hmm.
Knows that she's in a little bit of control, or has some control, has some hand, as we like to say. And so you can see that she's trying something new.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. How many times do you think we've been forced to listen to that voicemail now? We got to be getting
16?
We got to be getting up to around 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking this will all be worth it when one time she calls the voicemail and it's actually different and there's some payoff. But I don't think that's going to happen, Barrett, based on the way this episode ends.
Yeah.
The voicemail becomes defunct by the end of episode 7. So I think this was literally just Vince Gilligan being like, nope, you're going to listen to this over and over and over. So Carol gets back in her cop car, peels out from the gas station, and drives away singing "It's the End of the World as We Know It." This song always reminds me of Tommy Boy. Mm-hmm. There's a part of that movie where Tommy and Richard are in the car driving, and they're singing this, and they can't remember any of the lyrics to the actual verses. Roll opening sequence. So With the full knowledge of this episode, Barrett, I think you just did a pretty good job of explaining what it feels like is going on with Carol here. Because watching this for the first time, I think she has started to, like, accept her circumstances or make peace with the situation and is kind of trying to do the Kumba and learn how to enjoy herself.
Totally.
And like you said, lean into it and take a little bit of control back, right? The red Gatorade delivery in particular feels like it's her version of testing out what it would like to be like to be Kumba and just asking for anything that you want, right? But as we know by the end of episode 7, it's the end of the world as she knows it, and she feels not fine, but incredibly alone.
Yeah, this episode really, I think, made me think about the stages of grief. And I don't know if you're supposed, or if like the theory behind those stages is that they happen in a very specific order.
I believe that's the case.
She has not experienced them in that order. She's kind of bounced around between them. And it's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we've seen her angry. We've seen her depressed. I feel like this episode is more of like is kind of getting into the denial.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or even the bargaining in a way before kind of reaching acceptance a little bit.
Yeah.
At the end, and we'll talk more about that. But that's another. I think that's a helpful thing to think about when you kind of like frame this episode.
I agree. If you're a last-minute shopper like me, I've got your back today, and maybe you're not a last-minute shopper. Maybe you've just got one or some of those people in your life who are impossible to shop for. What the hell does this person like? What would they enjoy getting as a present? Nobody knows. Lucky for the Clam Fam, this year, there's one gift that everyone on your list is sure to enjoy, a digital picture frame from today's sponsor, Aura Frames. I honestly can't think of a more perfect holiday gift for parents and grandparents in particular. Barrett and I have both shared over the last few weeks that we've gotten these I got one for my mom, my dad, last Christmas, giving my mother-in-law one this year. Barrett and his wife have given some out to family as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Aura Frames make it incredibly easy to share unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the digital frame, as I did right before this episode by adding pictures from episode 7 of Pluribus to the frame and the one of Barrett and I that we talked about earlier. And when you give an Aura frame as a gift, you can personalize and preload it with a thoughtful message and photos using the Aura app, making it an ideal present for long-distance loved ones. It's a gift so special, they'll use it every day. Not only can you preload the frame with photos so it's ready to rock right out of the box, you can use the Aura app to add photos to your parents' or grandparents' frame whenever you've got new pictures to share, so they are able to see new photos of you, your kids, your dogs, your family, whatever you've got going on. It's this easy. I'm in an Uber on the way over here. I'm not even near the frame, and I remember, oh no, I've got to upload Pluribus episode 7 photos to the frame. I did it from the car, man.
Yeah.
Through the app.
Yeah.
Technology. So this way, I'm not constantly having to spam my family group text with photos of my kids every week. I can just add them to my parents' Aura frames using the app, and bing, bop, boom, boom, bop, bam. The new photos are rotating through. Your family members can even like your photos and add comments to them. And this thing has unlimited storage. I don't know how that's possible, but it's true. It's magic. It's Aura Frames. I've got our Aura Frame loaded up over my back left shoulder on the shelf. Shuffles through photos every 15 seconds, but you can change it to 30 seconds, a minute and a half, whatever time you deem fit. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code OCC at checkout. That's AURAFrames.com, promo code OCC. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. See the link and details in the description of this episode. So after the cold open and the title sequence, our count up is at 12 days, 20 hours, 42 minutes, and 50 seconds. One nice thing about this show, we don't have to worry about knowing how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Some shows, it's very difficult to tell, like how many days have come and gone during episodes, how many between episodes, etc. Not a problem on our Pluribus. So now Carol is drinking some brewskis, lighting some fireworks in her cul-de-sac, really cutting loose.
Oh, yeah.
Living it up. But then she hears wolves howling in the distance, and at first she seems a little scared. She's shook. But then she starts howling right along with them, and the wolves howl back. And then she goes full animalistic psycho howl, and the wolves are like, Jesus, lady, get a grip. And do not respond. The next morning, Carol goes and plays golf solo. Now, I know this got all the golfers in the audience aroused. The idea of having a country club golf course all to yourself did seem nice. Granted, the fairways aren't as trimmed as they would be, and there's some wild animals scattered about, some bunny rabbits.
Yeah, just a buffalo.
Just a buffalo
hanging out in the fairway.
Yeah, watch out for the buffalo.
How's that for a hazard, Ross?
Hey! Play it as it lies, Barrett. So Carol's cruising around in her golf cart singing "I'm All Right" by Kenny Loggins, which always reminds me of Caddyshack.
All right.
And I'll continue the theme of songs that remind me of comedy movies, classic comedy movies.
Wait, what was the first one?
First one was Tommy Boy, It's the End of the World as we know it.
World, Tommy Boy.
And this one's
now,
Caddyshack for me.
Which is a Kenny Loggins song.
Yeah. It's "I'm All Right" by Kenny Loggins, which is prominently featured in the film Caddyshack.
Very, very classic, like... It's an 80s song. It's an early 80s song, I want to say, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
It feels like it could have been from like one of the Back to the Future films as well.
Oh, it's literally from 1980.
Yeah. Kenny Loggins, I think there were some 70s in there.
Oh, it's the theme music for the 1980 comedy film Caddyshack.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, now it makes a lot of sense why she's singing that song, right?
Because she's on the golf course.
She's on the golf course.
We're connecting the dots.
Here
Look
it is.
at us.
This is why the people listen to this podcast.
That's why we talk it out. That's why we talk it out. We don't do the 5-minute version. It was actually written and performed for the movie. So that's a Kenny Loggins original made for Caddyshack. Did not know that.
So Kenny Loggins was just out there riding around and getting it when it came to theme songs for 80s movies. Because Danger Zone, Top Gun, that's also Kenny Loggins.
Pretty sure he also did Footloose.
He did. Yes, Kenny Loggins. Footloose is Kenny Loggins too.
Kenny Loggins, genius move.
My guy.
Yeah, wow.
He's probably still cashing checks, man.
Good for him. Guarantee it. If is he still with us?
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I searched Alive, and now that's the name of an album. Yep, he's 77 years old, kicking it. Good for Kenny. Cash those checks, Kenny.
Come on, Kenny.
So after getting in a quick 18, Carol's cop car will no longer start. Fortunately, she is at a country club, so there are some choice vehicles for her to grab for her next ride.
I felt very satisfied by this because like 2 or 3 episodes ago, we literally talked about how she had not run into this exact situation. I made reference to like how sometimes you just drive around in a cop car in Grand Theft Auto because you're not going to take the hoopty that's next to it.
Right.
You're going to wait until you see a parked Ferrari, and then you'll be like, all right, I'll switch.
Yes.
Right? That's what you do in the video game. And that's exactly what happens here. The cop car stops working, and she looks over and like, oh, I can have my choice of any luxury vehicle that I'd like.
Look, a Rolls Royce.
A Rolls Royce, and that's she makes the switch. Perfect.
It has "Just Married" written on the rear window and a bunch of golden heart balloons attached to it, which she does not remove. She just speeds off with those attached to the car. So Carol drives to a hot springs singing Steppenwolf's "Born to be Wild." Now, I couldn't pull a comedy movie with that one, unfortunately.
Born to be wild.
I feel like it's in a ton of movies, though.
Gotta be.
That song, yeah. At the hot springs, she sings Nelly's "Hot in Here," which reminds me of high school.
Wait, where did she sing "Born to be Wild"?
On the way
to the hot springs.
Okay. Yeah. Then at the hot springs,
she sings Nelly's "Hot in Here." Yeah,
because she has taken all her clothes off.
Yeah.
And is floating naked in the hot springs.
And it's getting hot in there.
And it's hot in there. Yeah. These are all very
on the nose.
Yeah, on the nose records.
I was just happy
chosen.
that like her knowledge of music and lyrics extended beyond like 80s pop and rock.
Yeah, this is like a 2002 Nelly hit.
She knew a little early 2000s hip hop as well. That was good.
I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. Good to see Carol relaxing, even getting a smile in here at the hot springs. Remember, she just found out last episode that the others can't turn her without her stem cells, which they'd need her permission to take. So she's got some joy in her heart at the moment. But we have to pause here, Barrett, because this is something you and I did not conjure up with our super intelligent brains during our episode 6 podcast. Have you seen the theories surrounding the others' need for Carol's permission to access her stem cells?
I've not.
Well, they don't need permission to access her frozen eggs, of which we learned
we know that they're
from that flashback.
Yes. Yes.
So those exist somewhere, and those would have her stem cells in them.
Okay.
Which could be very problematic. They've even had the line where she's like, good to know all the lawyers in the world survived.
Right.
So them telling her, you know, without your permission, we will not take your stem cells from your person. It's kind of a loophole here.
Okay.
That could come into play. We'll
so
see.
So you know how they can't harm anything? They can't
kill.
Pick an apple.
Yeah.
But can they physically like assault her to turn her? Right?
No, I don't think so. Oh, you're saying, okay, yeah. That's a fair point.
Like,
so even if they get the stem cells...
Yeah, don't you think that they have to do something physical to her?
Oh, actually, I don't. I don't think they do.
No, okay.
Because they didn't do anything physical to a lot of these. They did the airborne... The chemtrails.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So that could be a problem.
Steppenwolf's Born to be Wild is most famous for its iconic use in the 1969 biker film Easy Rider.
Easy Rider, okay.
But it's also been featured in many other movies, Ross, like The Wildlife, Fandango, Problem Child, The Lego Movie 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy. How about that?
The Lego Movie 2. Everybody's fave. Next, Carol drives her two-toned Rolls to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and I'm pretty sure this is the museum that Jesse and Jane visit in season 3 of Breaking Bad. You remember the whole Georgia O'Keeffe dialogue between your favorite character, Jesse Pinkman, and his heroin addict girlfriend, Jane?
No, I don't.
Well, he talks about how all the Georgia O'Keeffe paintings look like vaginas.
Right, famously.
Yeah, and all that. And then they go to the museum. I'm pretty sure this is the same one, which feels like a nice little callback to the old Breaking Bad. So
Georgia, when you think like, I feel like Georgia O'Keeffe is top 5, at the very least top 10 things that people think about when they think about New Mexico.
Well, certainly now, thanks to Vince.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I had her in New Mexico attached in my brain.
Attached to New Mexico? Okay.
No.
Maybe that's a me thing because my parents are Georgia O'Keeffe
heads,
sure. And I know we took some trips when I was young to like Santa Fe and places like that, and so I remember connecting those dots. I remember.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So Carol spots a painting she really likes. It's Belladonna by Georgia O'Keeffe. So she takes it home. Turns out she had a replica of that piece in her house.
Yeah, a framed print of it.
Yeah, a print that says like the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum at the bottom.
Right.
And she replaces that with the real thing.
Yeah.
Finally, Carol is having some fun.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
This is, and here we are. I think it's at this point where you're like, okay, she's doing her version of the Kumba, right?
Yeah.
Kumba wants to live out the plot of a James Bond movie. Carol wants to golf in peace and have a authentic, original Georgia O'Keeffe piece in her house, and break some windows, break some bottles behind Wawa, as it were.
Yeah.
What else? Does she wants to hit
to the hot springs?
You know, she's finally like, okay, I'll accept the situation and what it has to offer, and I'll go enjoy these things.
Well, and I think given the knowledge of the full episode, and having just visited with Kumba, she's like, fine, I'll try it. Yeah. I'll see what it's like. Maybe it will work for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I will like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Then Carol checks her fridge, doesn't see anything particularly appealing, and has another idea. She dials 0 and tells the others she wants to dine out tonight, someplace special, where Helen and her had their anniversary, which did make me wonder, because that's not very specific. She just says where we had our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of figured they've had lots of anniversaries, you know?
Maybe I kind of took it to mean where they had the most recent one.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
So that night she drives to the restaurant in her Rolls, and we see her step out dressed to the nines.
I loved the dress that they put her in. The slick back hair.
Yeah.
Like it was the real, jewelry, baubles. Like this was good.
It looked like an award season red carpet dress.
It did.
You know?
Yeah.
But what a waste of a fit, because she really had that shit on, and there's nobody there to see it, man.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because now whether they would have fulfilled this request is kind of up in the air, because they don't want to be around Carol right now. I don't want to be around anymore. But I thought that maybe she would be like, and make that shit feel like it's normal.
Like it's popping.
Like it's popping. Like
yeah,
put people in.
Right.
I want a server.
Right.
I want people at the other tables chatting as if they are individuals.
Well, you're making a great point because that is the huge difference between doing the Kumba and doing Carol's version of it currently.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that luxury because they've told her we need our space.
Right.
You know? So, that's a great point. You know? It's just she's doing her best with her current circumstances.
I thought the solo dining experience with a beautiful view in a nice restaurant.
So, is that downtown Albuquerque back there?
Thing.
I think.
Yeah, probably.
Great view.
But the no server was tough.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the no anyone. You're sitting there by yourself, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be fun for a few minutes, but then, let me tell you.
Yeah, please go on.
So she obviously has the entire restaurant to herself. She's got a view of what I think is downtown Albuquerque, and there are 4 dishes prepared already on her table. She opens one and says, Martha's Vineyard, 1999. The second one, Helen's Birthday, 2008. The third one, Meritosi, which is a Roman dessert.
Okay.
She does not assign it a date, though, and then she doesn't really remark on the last one, other than to say, like, yes, she's really stoked about this dish.
Yeah.
And she says, I'll give them this. Those crazy bastards sure can cook. And she fires up the automatic piano, but then when she sits back down, I think is when she has the realization what you're pointing out. She sighs a bit, and it's like there's a break in the facade for a moment there. Like you get the impression maybe this isn't all the way working for her.
Right.
Maybe she still feels the crushing loneliness of having no one else around. And then she digs in and eats her food. Don't you wish someone would deliver delicious, fully prepared, ready-to-eat meals right to your door like the others do for Carol Sturka? That can be your reality with today's show's sponsor, Factor. Eating well around the holidays can be tough with how busy we all get. That's why I use Factor's chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals to help me stay balanced and energized through the most indulgent time of year. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the holiday season gets. Unlike meal kits that require prep and cooking, Factor delivers fully prepared, ready-to-eat meals in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes in the microwave and boom, you've got a delicious meal. And Factor is full of variety with an insanely impressive amount of meals to choose from. If it's been a while since you checked out Factor, they've got an even wider selection of weekly meal options now, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Support your wellness goals with Factor. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. Whatever your diet, you can find what you need with Factor. Savor global flavors with Factor. For the first time, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference no matter your routine. I've been eating Factor for years now, and I love it. If you're like me, there's some days you get home from work or school or whatever, and you just want to be able to plop down on the couch and enjoy the next episode of your favorite TV show without having to worry about what's for dinner. Factor takes this dream and makes it a reality with the best meals delivered straight to your door. So many good options, so much good food, great smoothies and juices as well if you're into that. Eat smart at factormeals.com/OCC50off and use code OCC50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code OCC50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. This exclusive holiday offer won't last. Lock in your savings before the New Year rush. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. See details and link in the description of this episode. We leave Carol at the restaurant, and we go straight to Manusos, on foot, trying to make his way from Paraguay to New Mexico. He's walking uphill with a gas can in his hand, trying to learn English. The cat is gray. One of the others pulls up alongside him in a truck and offers him a ride, then some water. We don't want you to get dehydrated. Losing just 5% of your body's water content could lead to fatigue and headaches. Even kidney stones. Of course, Manusos ignores this man completely and keeps on trekking. The man tells him he'll leave him to it, but that if he needs anything, he should just wave to the sky.
They got the drones on his ass.
Yeah, seems to be the case. So Manusos goes and siphons some gas from a truck while he keeps practicing his English. The dog is yellow. He sticks money on every vehicle he siphons gas from to repay the owner for what he is taking. I'm curious to see how long he sticks with this strategy.
So, yeah, and I don't know where you want to drop in here to talk about Manusos, but I'll just mention that here with the look and the money, this dude is extremely moralistic, right? And he's wearing this yellow bandana around his neck, which is very reminiscent of the bandana that you wear as a Boy Scout. It's like the triangle in the back, tied in the front. The only thing he's missing is the little bolo thing up the neck with the fleur de lis on it or whatever.
Getting some Eagle Scout Barrett inside here, folks.
But it's very he's.
I was a
we
wee
know that he's extremely detail oriented. He is he's quick on his feet. He's kind of innovative when it comes to figuring out solutions. But he is but above all, it's everything that he does is operating on what I would call a moral high ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that it's interesting how that ends up factoring into his view of the others and kind of the relationship that he is refusing with them.
Yeah. He's still cruising in his little convertible.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow dog chases the gray cat.
Yeah, he's not just gonna switch cars like Carol is at least willing to.
It's another great point.
Right. He's
passing a lot of cars along the way.
A lot of cars.
But he's still driving his.
No. He is walking however long to siphon gas to put back in his own car.
Yeah. So we follow Manusos driving along. Some unbelievably beautiful shots of scenery along the way. We see him drive through a town where everybody greets him, and he ignores them all.
Manusos, hello, hola.
Yeah, one of these towns that he goes to, I think it's the second one, where everyone is in a line. Mm-hmm. All the others are in a line walking, very assembly line-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I feel was probably the most insight we've gotten since episode 1 of we keep asking, what do these people do all day? Well, they're doing something. It seems like they've all got tasks out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so just keeps ignoring everyone. You see, Barrett, Manusos don't fuck with extraterrestrial zombies. He does not like them. By the way, his car has a vanity license plate.
Okay.
El Fritz.
Oh, Fritz.
Which I think means the Fritz.
The Fritz.
Which don't you say my car is on the Fritz if it's not working?
Yeah.
Isn't that a saying?
Yeah, but let's see.
Well, Carol's car, the Rolls she stole, also has vanity plates. It says Ace something.
Right. Yeah, what did that one say?
There were a lot of vanity plates in this episode, is my point. I think 3 different sets we're exposed to.
He's driving the little coupe. No, the little roadster that he's in is an MG midget.
Yeah.
They kind of narrow.
They show us that, yeah.
Which is MGs are kind of classic, old school little roadsters like this. They're tiny.
Hence the name.
Think about a Mazda Miata.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the vibe of this thing he's got. The El Fritz thing, I don't know. I see that there's a Reddit thread on it, which I'm not going to dive into at this moment. But I can see that somebody says the most famous example is Frederick the Great of Prussia, often called Fritz. I don't know. I don't know what El Fritz is going to mean.
Yeah, but isn't on the Fritz a saying?
Yeah, but I don't think that's what it means.
Well, his car was on the Fritz immediately when he pulled it out of the garage. Is the only reason I connected those dots. You know, it immediately had issues. So you think
he just put that license plate on instead of spending any money to fix the car? He was just like, this thing's always on the Fritz.
Got to label it appropriately.
I got to put that thing on there.
Yeah, I guess I grabbed my my dad's 1986 Bolin plate.
Look at that.
Since we're doing vanity plates
today. Your dad
today.
had vanity plates on the last name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dumbass move. Don't do that. Absolutely don't do that. But this was 1986. It was a different time.
Different era.
You could get away with stuff like that. No disrespect, Dad. So we do a little montage of him driving up the coast, get some shots of a map showing his progress that keep overlaying, you know?
Yes.
He siphons more gas. The world is big. Big the world. Today, I am not going to the library. Tomorrow, yes, to the library, I will go. Smart guy to learn English so he can communicate more easily with Carol Sturka. God knows Carol ain't learning Spanish.
Right.
She's got a limited amount of it. Pretty sure the extent of which we have already been exposed to during her phone calls with Manusos. It also just made me appreciate. Dude, it's so hard to learn a language as an adult.
Yeah.
To learn an entirely new language as a fully formed adult is very, very difficult.
Indeed.
And I'm so jealous of bilingual people and trilingual.
Yeah.
Quadlingual.
Yeah.
But that'll never be me, unfortunately. think that ship has sailed. Barring a situation like this that Manousos is in, where I'm given lots and lots of free time.
Yeah.
So Manousos spends the night in a church, which felt notable because he seems like he's a religious guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's got that saint hanging from the old rear view mirror there.
Yep.
Is that Catholicism? I'm gonna guess.
I almost guarantee it.
Gonna take a stab in the dark there.
Yep.
Stays in the church, brushes his teeth, gives himself a haircut. To whom do the coats belong? The coats belong to them. He catches some little fish for himself by a waterfall. Mm-hmm. Somewhere around this point in the episode, the uncultured swine watching are yelling, "Oh my God, is anything going to actually happen on this show? This is so boring." Listen here, ding dong. Just because you have the attention span of a gnat and severe dopamine addiction doesn't mean the rest of us can't enjoy a little art. This show is more comparable to going and looking at a painting in a museum than it is like snorting meth off a toilet seat at an EDM concert, which is more of your speed. So just try to relax. Not everything has to be the most high-octane experience of your pathetic life. End rant. So finally, Manousos gets out to the Darien Gap. Is it pronounced Darien?
I think so.
Because the E's got one of them little accents over it.
Right.
And me no smart, me stupid.
Darien
Gap. When he drives up, there are a bunch of clothes and like random objects like teddy bears scattered about, right? Apparently, they're things that people left behind, which they could carry no further. Mm-hmm. As Manousos mentally prepares himself to begin the treacherous hike, a group of the others emerges from the trees, very creepily. Are they just always around? Like, what the hell?
I mean, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Guy says, "Manousos, please don't do this. The Darien is too dangerous. It's over 100 kilometers to Panama. That's 62 miles, FYI. There are no marked trails. The forecast for this week is not conducive to hiking. It's going to be over 38 degrees with 98% humidity." Again, Celsius.
Very important to note. Yeah.
And we don't mean to harp on hydration, but clean water is not going to be easy to come by. The tropical forests host a remarkable diversity of snakes, spiders, and insects, and many are quite venomous. And then there are the chunga plants. The spines can grow up to 20 centimeters long, and they're covered in bacteria. Even the smallest cut could lead to a fatal infection. Please, Manousos, we can take you anywhere you want to go. How about New Mexico? Isn't that where you're going to visit Carol Sturka? We could get you there by nightfall. We could even transport your car. We know how much it means to you. So Manousos, who has not said a word in response, gets out his gas can, dumps it all over his car, lights some wood, and burns the car in front of them as he delivers this cold-ass response. He says, "Nothing on this planet is yours. Nothing. You cannot give me anything because all that you have is stolen. You don't belong here." And I was like, sick. And the car just like burns as he walks off, right? Yeah. So this lunatic whose refusal to cooperate with the hive-minded makes Carol Sturka look like Kumba Diabate by comparison.
Yeah. What are you making of all this? What are you making of of Manousos being this opposed? I mean, on an entirely different level than Carol Sturka is.
Yeah, I think part of it is he is much more capable of being as independent as he is being. I mean, granted, the Darien Gap thing, not basic, borderline impossible, it sounds like, to do by yourself. But yeah, I don't know. He's clearly that we're supposed to be comparing and contrasting the two, though, Manousos and Carol.
Yeah. And so what I started to think about here, and I'm just maybe I'm grasping at straws here and trying to make good content for a podcast, but the way that he is so moral, the way that he is so anal and detailed, and the cutting of his hair, and like all these tiny little things that he does, right? That are so considered for him. And then I go back to that line where he's like, "You're not my mom. My mom was a bitch."
Yeah.
I think that like for him, I think that having like this sound of a moral compass is something that requires like extremely hard work and dedication and like discipline. And all of these people have just adopted it through this joining, right? And I feel like that's like offensive to him. That everybody is nice and helpful and morally sound now without having done any of the work to be that way.
He's like, "This is my thing."
He's like, "This is my thing." Yes. I feel like there's some sort of ego about it in that way. because I can't really like, I mean, I think you could draw a straighter line from A to B and just be like kind of in the way that you put it earlier, he doesn't fuck with these extraterrestrial aliens that have occupied Earth via body snatching.
Right. Yeah.
Like it could be that, but I feel like I think there's something more than that. I feel like there is something about the way that he is that makes him so opposed and offended to
and rigid
to what has happened.
Yeah.
Because like you'd kind of think that a guy with that type of moral compass and with this type of ethics would be like, sweet, nobody, like everybody's on my wavelength now. Nobody's a bad person anymore. Nobody's a bitch like my mom. But it's almost like he needs people to be shitheads so that he's living his life this way for a reason or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I definitely hear you.
I don't know.
There's something in that vein.
Yeah, and the way that he, I mean, yeah, him going on this Darien Gap death march is just so interesting to me.
It makes you want to know more about the dude so bad.
Yes, yeah.
Like what his past, and also makes you look back to like the first time Carol trusted the others to transport her on a plane, for instance.
Right.
Carol took that leap of faith, and when the first time it worked, then she's willing to do it again and again, and you know what I mean. Kumba, obviously, to a much greater extent even, and then there's Manusos, who will give them nothing. He won't take their food. He won't let them transport him. Them trying to tell him how dangerous the Darien Gap is and giving him the weather and all the different threats out there almost makes him even more...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Defiant.
Defiant? Yeah. So he's a fascinating character for sure. He continues his trek and he starts saying over and over, "My name is Manusos Ovideo. I am not one of them. I wish to save the world." He's out there making campfires. He's crossing rivers, climbing, eating beef jerky for sustenance. "My name is Manusos Ovideo. I am not one of them. I wish to save the world." And at first, it seems like he might actually pull this off. Like the first day or two, you're like, all right, Manusos, covering some ground. But then he starts to get a little more tired. We see him like lose his footing on a step or two, and this is pre-Chunga plant coming into play.
He rolls that ankle.
Rolls the ankle, pulls his machete, and starts like hacking his way through some brush.
I don't know about you. For some reason, when he pulls out that machete and starts hacking the brush, I thought to myself, oh, this dude's I think this dude might die. I think he's not even gonna get to Carol.
I thought he was gonna die too. I thought they were gonna do a big fucking twist here.
Yeah, same. That this dude's like refusal to cooperate at all is basically he's going to lead to his death. Like he's not even going to make it to Carol to save the world.
I had the exact same thought somewhere around this point when he's especially because he's repeating that phrase about I wish to save the world, and he's clearly starting to struggle with the ankle and the pulling out the machete.
And they did such a nice job of like juxtaposing this dude being on this kind of like beautiful nature walk that thus far doesn't seem all that scary, except for the rocky surfaces and some steep inclines in the rivers. But like, they're building tension in a really like interesting way here, and you kind of start to squirm because there's no dialogue and so little, and like they're so focused on just these two individual characters, and they're not giving your brain that little medley of scenes and jump arounds to like keep you kind of activated and paying attention to this and that and this. You just kind of have to sit with this dude, and it just kind of like it gets a little worse and a little worse and a little worse, and he pulls out that machete and you're like, oh, this dude's fucked.
Yeah, it's also extremely like the older I've gotten, this is gonna sound a little silly, but like when I was a kid going out in the woods, I had no fear, dude. No fear. Didn't think about what could be out there or what the hell. It was just a fun place to like play or run around or whatever, right? Well, now at 38 years old and having gotten poison ivy several times, like my house like backs up to a forest essentially. And like, I don't go back there, bro. Because I don't want poison ivy. I don't want to run into a rattlesnake. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, nature is incredibly beautiful. It can be incredibly awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
But also at the exact same time, insanely dangerous.
Yeah.
The ocean is probably the best example. So eventually Minuso slips, loses his footing, and falls back directly into one of the chunga plants.
Dude.
Not good.
Not what you want.
No. Lets out a very primal scream. Birds scatter from the forest. Later that night, he bites his leather belt and attempts to treat the wounds himself with his red-hot machete. I couldn't remember the word, but cauterizing. Yeah. I really hope I never have to do that.
I leaned over to Lara at this point when he's going to do this, and I'm like, wouldn't the bacteria already be in his body?
Yeah, I think it's a little late for this
from this
treatment.
Puncture wounds from the most terrifying plant I've ever seen?
Yeah, I think mostly cauterization would stop the bleeding.
It would stop bleeding. It would prevent potentially infection from the exposed wound.
But it does seem, I agree, it does seem like it would have, some at least would have made its way in. They even specify one tiny prick could be deadly enough to kill you.
And
these things sunk deep into his back, in his whole damn back, He's a dead man.
I thought for sure, I didn't even know if he was going to get off that tree, man.
Yeah.
The way that he falls into those things and seemingly they're puncturing his organs or something. I don't know. It was awful.
I love the way they built that tension too. At one point he turns a corner and the spikes are inches from his face. Yeah. And they really played with us here. Because you would think after that shot, well, now surely he's going to be careful enough to not fall into one of these things. But nope.
Yeah.
Nope. One bad step.
Because it's 100 kilometers and my dude is getting tired.
Yeah.
He's living off beef jerky.
He's mentally, physically, emotionally spent, dude. So the next day, he tries to continue hiking, and we get the shot of his back, he's still bleeding. My name is Manusos Ovideo. I am not one of them. I wish to save the world. But then he finally collapses. Definitely seems like he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
And as he fights to maintain consciousness, he hears the sound of a helicopter approaching. And we see him say, Karol Sturka, to himself, under his breath, as he lies there on the ground. Karol Sturka. Then he waves up at the chopper. I don't know if you can call it a wave. There's been some debate about this because they tell him, if you need help, wave up at the sky. But when there's a helicopter over you, that is a hell of a lot of wind and dust that's being kicked up. It was almost like he was blocking the sun.
Blocking the sun. That's what he was doing.
Not waving.
It's extremely bright. There's a helicopter over him. He can't see. The wind is going crazy. He's just blocking out the sun to see.
What is
right?
And he's probably hallucinating at this point.
I mean, this is very much this apparition appearing because I'm dying. And what is this? Is this an angel? Am I going heaven?
100%.
What is happening here? He's not waving for the drone.
But they're going to take that as a wave. They're counting that.
Well, I think that they're saving his ass no matter what. They're not going to.
Really?
I don't think they're letting him die. As soon as he falls over, it's It's sort of like the scene in The Office when Michael Scott goes camping on his own. And he says he wants to be alone and nobody, but Dwight tracks him anyway.
Yeah.
And then right before Michael is going to eat the poisonous mushrooms, he tackles him. Yes. That's like the vibe here. They're like, all right, fine, we'll let you attempt this suicide mission, but as soon as you fall down, we're saving your ass.
Yeah, it's like those Bear Grylls or whatever that dude's name is, Into the Wild shows, but there's a fucking camera, there's a safety crew nearby at all times, that kind of thing, just absurd though. So regardless, I am curious to know if they'll specify well, you waved, you lifted your hand up, or we were going to save you no matter what. I'm just curious, if he hadn't lifted his hand, would they have still saved him? Because the guy doesn't rappel down until his hand goes up. So one of the others rappels down to save his ass. Then we fast forward to 48 days, 16 hours, 57 minutes, and 11 seconds on our count up. That is 36 days from where Karol started at the beginning of this episode.
Big jump.
Over a month.
Yep.
Far and away the largest time jump we have had. We are back with Karol in New Mexico listening to her Booyah Jams mixtape from 2006. Hitting golf balls off the top of a parking garage. Her swing's getting pretty good. She's breaking windows on an adjacent office building.
I don't know if you're this way, but if you're gonna have people play sports in TV and film, they need to know, they need to look like they know what they're
not
doing.
like Tom Cruise in War of the Worlds,
right? And
famously,
which I just watched an episode of English Teacher where they have a guy playing a high school football player who might get recruited by a big D1 college. The dude can't throw a football. Why?
You would think they'd go over that in casting,
that can throw a football. He's got 4 lines. Get a guy that can throw a football. Anyway, so when we get her that, we're basically watching a swing tape here.
Yeah.
Right? With the angle that we have. And I was like, she better keep that elbow in.
Yeah.
And she did. She kept that elbow in. She won,
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Later that night, or at night, she's lighting more fireworks, drinking more brewskis. She's also really progressed as a pyromaniac. She's lighting a whole bunch of big fireworks at once. And when one of them tips over and points right at Carol before firing, she doesn't even move from her chair. She just sits there and contemplates perhaps ending it all.
I from my viewpoint, I don't think that you could tell that firework was going to not hit you in the face.
Hell no. No, this was basically like a suicidal ideation that she experiences here.
Yeah.
She closes her eyes, accepts her fate, but then the firework goes just past her head and sets her neighbor's house on fire instead. Tough break, Carol.
Yeah.
She grabs her garden hose and plays firefighter. So the next day, she goes and gets a big bucket of white paint from the home improvement store. She gets home, stirs up the paint with a stick, and writes a message in the middle of her cul-de-sac that at first we obviously can't see. Of course, we now know it says, come back. She goes inside and stares at her Georgia O'Keeffe painting for a while. Then she hears a car approaching. Carol exits the front door, and there she is. Zosha. She's back. Carol, sad penguin, waddles down the driveway towards Zosha, then hugs her and begins sobbing and like gasping for air almost. Gripping Zosha tight with both hands, zoom out to reveal comeback that she's painted on the cul-de-sac, roll credits. And as Kumba told her, they're just looking for a change of heart. They just needed something, some show of cooperation on some level to come back, and there it is. So.
Yeah, and what they got was above and beyond that, right?
Dude, the way people are dissecting this, is next level wild.
I think you could spend another hour on this. I think,
yeah.
Right? I think to boil it down for me, and what I took from this is that like, there's nothing worse than loneliness, and it does not matter how much fun you can have and how many cars you can have and how many rounds of golf you can play and how many fireworks you can light, beers you can drink, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's all meaningless without some type of connection to others. And so it's like, it doesn't even matter that it's one mind for her at this point. She just needs a fucking hug, human contact on some level.
Just needs a hug, man.
And so that, I think, I thought a lot about why they named this episode The Gap as well, because I don't believe that they would just name it after the Darien Gap. I think there has to be more than that. It's a Vince Gilligan show.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I kind of started thinking about the gaps between people and the gap between Manousos and Carol, and how like Manousos strikes you as somebody that could potentially deal with loneliness a lot more than Carol can.
Right.
Yeah,
we all have different thresholds.
Well, yeah. And so how does if they do end up meeting, how does that factor in?
My threshold is so low, by the way. It's so low. I would have made it 4 hours.
But yeah, I loved the ending here. I thought it said a lot. I thought it set up the final 2 episodes in a really interesting way to see how willing she is to kind of deal with the others at this point and to cooperate or interact with them.
Yeah, where will we go from here?
Where will we go from here? They sent the perfect person back. I think we know that she has a relationship with Zosha, even if that means she has a relationship with all of them.
You want to call it a personal relationship, but you can't because it's all of them.
Because it's all of them.
Yeah.
Which is something that Kumba has had no problem wrapping his head around.
Nope. He's unbothered. Bring in the cleaning lady.
But yeah, I thought this was a really good place to leave us at the end of an episode that I thought just was really thought-provoking and beautifully shot and did a lot with a little.
Yeah, look, I think this episode, better than any that precedes it, encapsulates the vibe of this show.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm hopeful that for some people who have struggled with the pacing, because admittedly, like, there have been points where I'm like, well, this guy, I've said it, like, he's going to take his sweet-ass time telling this story. But this episode kind of made me, it like sunk in more for me. I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. Like, the show is clearly going to use the pace to say things and to communicate deeper messages, right? And I thought this episode did it brilliantly. It's really difficult to imagine going 48 days with extremely limited human contact. Really, Carol has spent the large majority of those days totally and completely alone. That would drive a lot of people insane. And it's just, I saw people online hoping that this was all part of Carol's plan, that she's faking it essentially, that she's not actually emotionally broken, that she just was trying to draw them back in because she's come up with something. Like that's where people are rooting so hard for this to not be a legitimate emotional break. And I saw one person, this is the most ridiculous thing I've seen so far, that said her painting the O in cum around a manhole was actually a wink that it's like that there's some deeper and I was like, come on, no, I think the emotional break is very, very real. I think she is coming to terms with the fact that, all right, they might not be people the way I think of people, but my God, I need somebody around. And I enjoyed Zoja's company. And we saw moments earlier in the season where she's having drinks with Zoja pre-hand grenade disaster, where it seems like she's actually kind of enjoying connecting with this sort of hive mind supercomputer situation, this fucking AI being, if you will. And so I don't think you can fake that hug and those tears and the gasping and the way she's holding on to Zoja, and I think you said it beautifully though, like perfectly, that, it wouldn't matter if you're king of the world, but there's no one else to enjoy it with, you'd still be the most miserable human being on earth. Human beings are not built for solitude. In fact, one of the reasons I love this subject matter so much is that you can make the argument that at this point in human history, in 2025, coming up to 2026, human beings have never been more isolated from each other and more alone.
Loneliness is a massive problem.
Huge pandemic, you could call it. And this was only worsened by the coronavirus pandemic. It has only been worsened by social media and the internet and these things that we thought would bring us together that have actually taken us further and further and further apart. And so that concept of needing human interaction and human connection to really feel fulfilled and purposeful and be able to access joy is so fascinating to me. And so this episode kind of hit on all of that perfectly. Some big takeaways. So Manusos tried to make the Darien Gap without the others, failed and needed their help. And it's going to be very interesting to see Carol and Manusos inevitably. I have to imagine that they take Manusos from the Gap in their helicopter to probably a hospital to get patched up and get on some antibiotics and get healthy. And whether or not that service will be enough to convince him, okay, I can at least utilize these people to fly me across to Albuquerque so that I don't have to do the trek alone. Right? And we'll just have to wait and see. I imagine he'll probably take them up on some transportation after this.
It's possible that they also bring Carol to him wherever he is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
She's willing to, get on airplanes.
Use the airplanes and whatnot. Clearly, Carol and Manusos meeting will either be next episode or in the finale.
I think so.
That'll be a huge moment. Carol tried to make Albuquerque work without the others, failed, and needed them back. And I'm one thing we haven't touched on yet. This feels like it was the others' plan. This was their plan. All right, she's gonna keep bucking us. She's gonna keep screwing with us. She's gonna drug one of us to try and get more truth out of us and try to figure out how to stop us. Fine, we'll leave her here by herself. Let's see how long she lasts. Before she needs us back. They got some hand, or at least at the moment. It feels like this was a huge win for them. So, again, there's going to be a lot of conversation around where Carol goes from here, and do we think that she'll be completely cooperative with them and be more like Kumba, or is she still going to stay? My prediction is that Carol's kind of lost it here a little bit. She's lost her way a little bit, if you will, and that Manusos, who is not one of them and wants to save the world, will come in and kind of reignite the spark in Carol.
Yeah, maybe so. And I think that's where I'll circle back to the grief conversation, right? This feels like a bit of that embrace of Zosha feels like a bit of of acceptance. Like, okay, I can't really fight this.
Right.
I gave it my best shot, but like what are the paths that I have at this point? There's not really like
Was she gonna do that shit for the rest of her life?
a lot
Play
out
golf
there,
alone?
a lot out there to and I feel like the truth serum thing didn't work, and now they've all disappeared, and they won't even be near her, and so it's like she's kind of flailed around and swung her arms and got hit with the loneliness, and I feel like this is acceptance. I feel like it's acceptance of them in the moment. I feel like it's acceptance of how sad and how much she actually is grieving the loss of the world, but the loss of Helen.
Purpose.
Yeah, and so maybe Manousos is kind of the spark that reintroduces that. That reintroduces the kind of the fight in her,
Right.
But maybe their joining is kind of like brings back the fight, but also but for Manousos' part is the Carol piece of this could basically be like, we have to utilize them, we have to use them, we have to live with them, we need them to make this all work, and at the same time, like they're also fulfilling this need, this personal need that I have for connection and touch and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
You called it their joining, which is just ironic.
yeah. But you brought up the kind of the you said when she's talking to Zosha and kind of enjoying the chatting with this sentient AI as
Enjoying the company, yeah.
of sorts. That makes me think of Manousos again. This dude is robotic. That's another good word for him. Like he doesn't seem like a guy that feels a whole lot of emotion, although there's definitely some there when he tells these people to fuck off and that they stole everything and don't own anything and they don't belong here.
Yeah,
so,
I would describe that emotion as hate. He fucking hates those people.
but he is, the way that he moves and operates is a little robotic. It's a little like, it's stiff.
Yeah.
So,
there was a lot of people that were on board with the theory that Carol drugging Zosha with the truth serum actually did bring Zosha out of the hive mind, and that was part of the reason that they all bailed from Albuquerque is because they needed to take Zosha away to either reintroduce her to the hive mind or so that Carol wouldn't know that what she did just worked.
See, look at this. The Redditors are finding things to theorize about.
Yeah, they're going nuts on there. That's one of the reasons I believe Apple's claim that this is the most watched Apple TV show, because if you go online, the discourse is insane. It is very geisty, as you like to call it. Like, it is hitting the zeitgeist to the point that you are seeing. The bigger a show is, the more divisive it appears on the internet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we know that.
The more polarizing it becomes online. So it's definitely big, but I would take the ending of this episode as proof that Zosha was not removed from the hive. Unless they could reinsert her.
Yeah, certainly not. Yeah. Yeah, I think she got folded back in.
Yeah, because that's hive mind Zosha there. That's not like Zosha the person pre-apocalypse or whatever. So yeah. Any last notes?
The restaurant. It's the level 5 rooftop restaurant at Hotel Chaco in Albuquerque. It offers magnificent panoramic views of the surrounding Albuquerque area, including, here's some of the things that you can see from the rooftop deck there: the Sandia Mountains, the downtown skyline, historic Old Town,
wow,
and of course the Sawmill Market.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you for that tidbit and such. All right, we'll be back next week with our discussion and review of Pluribus Episode 8, titled Charm Offensive. Also, we are over halfway through our coverage of The Wire Season 2 on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles. Our companion podcast for Episode 7 of The Wire Season 2 dropped last week, I think. 7, yeah. Companion podcasts for all the episodes in Season 1 are already available exclusively on Patreon. Our coverage of The Wire is friendly to first-timers and rewatchers, completely ad-free, of course, as is everything on our Patreon page. Please go subscribe on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles to watch The Wire with us and support our show and gain access to our entire backlog of ad-free Patreon-exclusive content, including our companion podcasts for every single episode of HBO's classic crime drama, The Sopranos, which Barrett and I started doing, I believe, in 2020 and finished out at some point in 2021. We've got Movie Club with companion podcasts for over 20 different movies that Barrett and I have watched, and of course, tens of 20s, if not hundreds of episodes of Hotline Call podcasts with calls from our listenership, driving further discussion around House of the Dragon, Severance, White Lotus, Succession, The Last of Us, House of the Dragon, which I already said, and a whole bunch more. So go to patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles today. Check it out. Support our show. Get in there and get a lot more OCC. Support our sponsors as well. Today we had 2. You can see the links and details in the description of this episode. Follow us on social media. You can search Oysters, Clams, and Cockles on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads, and on Twitter as well, on Facebook even, if you must. And you'll see clips from our show, announcements about episodes and schedule releases and such. You can follow Barrett and I on social media as well. Barrett, where can they follow you?
Oh, I'm at Barrett Dudley across the platforms.
And I'm at WR Bolin on Instagram and Twitter, where I am most active. And then I am also on Letterboxd at Boss Rollin. If you screw around on Letterboxd, hit me with a follow. I need to log several movies I recently watched, including last night I did Wake Up Dead Man?
The new Knives Out?
The new Knives Out.
Yeah. Damn, you were quick on that.
Yeah, I got in there, man.
Okay. Well, bet you haven't watched the first part of Stranger Things like I have.
I've watched 2 of them, and it's great so far.
Didn't you skip the last season?
Yeah, I knocked it out, dude. Well, I was sick a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm caught up, baby. Vecna. He's a real problem.
He is a real problem. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Through the first 2 episodes of this new Stranger Things Part 1, Season 5,
Yeah.
I was like, they waited too long, man. I just don't care about this shit. And then by the 4th one, I was like pretty locked in. And now I'm like fiending for the next batch.
Yeah, they drew me all the way back in. Honestly, watching that most recent season prior to this one a few weeks ago or whenever it was, it's the same thing happened. I was like, I don't know. I don't really give a shit anymore. It's like, it is what it, by the end of the season, I was like, all right, so when do the new episodes come out? And then similarly, I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far. So it's cool to see them closing it out on what I hope will continue to be a high note. So yeah, holler at Barrett and I on social if you want to talk some more about any of that stuff or anything else that's come out recently, including Landman Season 2, which neither of us have started yet.
No.
One day.
I heard there was Roadhead in the most recent episode.
Somehow that doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
Video of our show is produced by Kade Orris. Shout out to producer Kade for once again working with us on a Sunday so we can get this out for y'all as early as possible. Until next time, remember, we would move heaven and earth to make you happy.